morning, you motherfucking sunshines. Get all the crumbs out? Good. Let's start the video, man. Welcome back to the channel, mofos. We're gonna talk about some camera gear, man. One of my favorite topics in the world. I carry a shit ton of it. Okay, there's no way around it. I carry a lot of weight. It's my one luxury item. My luxury item happens to weigh like 10 pounds, so it is what it is. A little disclaimer, all this stuff I'm gonna talk about, 100% unnecessary to vlog a through hike.
Moron.
Use your damn cell phone. They're amazing these days. That being said, if you've already gone over the dark side like I have, and you want to start investing in all this gear, it's a hell of a hobby. I did pick up a new camera this year, which we will get to in a minute, but before we do that, let's go over my main setup, and that is what I'm shooting with currently. That is my Sony a7 IV. Amazing camera. I've used it in my last 2 through hikes. Used it in Scotland on the Scottish National Trail, as well as in Sweden on the Kungsleden. It's a hybrid camera, meaning it's pretty good at photos, it's pretty good at videos, it's not great at either. They sell different cameras for each one of those, Sony does. But the hybrid style of shooting that I do with both video and photos, the a7 IV is pretty amazing. Shoots 4K up to 60 frames a second if you want to do some slow-mo. It does crop in a little bit on the sensor, but not enough to notice. You still got all the detail in there. 33 megapixel photos. For someone like me who does sell prints and does calendars every year, it's 33 megapixels and is enough. If I have to crop it on the image, I can still blow it up wall size and you haven't lost a hell of a lot of detail. I'll be carrying 2 lenses on my Sony this year. My 16-35 f4 wide angle zoom does 90% of the work I need it to do. I've carried up to 3 lenses in the past. This year I'll be carrying 1 extra lens, and that is my 85mm 1.8. It's fairly small, fairly compact for what it is, fairly lightweight as well. 1.8 aperture, it's great for getting the nice bokeh in the background, excellent portrait lens. And if I want to do any sort of compression photography, this is the lens I'll go to. In the front of my lens here, as an outdoor vlogger, this item right here is pretty much a necessity for me. This is my variable ND filter. This is a K&F Concepts 3 to 7 stop, basically sunglasses for my lens. When I'm shooting wide open at f4, it lets in way too much light, especially on the desert. If I did not have this on there, the whole scene would be basically white. So this allows me to adjust the sunlight coming into my sensor and allows me to shoot wide open at f4. They did not offer these on my last ND I had, but this is just a rubber cap that I can put over my ND filter and keep my lens protected when I'm going through high brushy areas, rubbing up against stuff. So I don't scratch my ND filter because those things are pretty pricey. On top of my Sony, which you won't be able to see, is my Rode Video Micro. Same microphone I've used since the beginning. They're just durable, they work, no bells and whistles to it. There's no batteries involved. You just plug it into the side of the camera and it records decent audio. If I had one complaint about my Sony, it's the stabilization, okay? The stabilization on Sony cameras suck. If you go back and watch any of my previous vlogs with my Sonys, the footage is very shaky, okay? There's no way around it with this thing. I try to be as steady as I can when I'm walking down the trail to get those types of shots, or if I'm just holding my camera out, talking to it, I try to be as steady as possible, but on trail, it's damn near impossible to get steady footage with this camera, which is why I decided to try something new this year, and that's my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I used to have the old version of this, the Pocket 2. I wasn't a really big fan of it, but the new Pocket 3s, they have a hell of a lot bigger screen, which is easier to see. That was my major complaint about the Pocket 2, is I couldn't see what I was filming, but this screen allows me to see it pretty good. It is a gimbal, so it does amazing steady footage. Does have a little joystick on there so I can control the gimbal, but what I'm going to be using this thing mainly for is doing the walking down the trail shots, as well as when I'm walk and talk vlogging, so that the camera's not jumping all over the place, and hopefully it'll be a lot easier for you guys to watch. It does have an internal battery on it, so you can't swap batteries out on this thing, but the battery life is decent on it. When I bought this thing, I bought the extra battery grip. It just pops off like this. So without this grip on here, this camera is absolutely tiny, but I actually like having the extra grip on there. It's just easier to hold in my hand. I have a bigger hand, so I won't be as paranoid to drop this thing if I got that extra battery grip on there. It is not weather sealed in the slightest, so I will not be using this thing in the rain whatsoever. Now, the onboard mics on the DJI Pocket 3 are pretty good, but I have tested it out around here in higher wind situations, and it does pick up wind noise pretty bad. So DJI does sell this DJI Mic 2. Comes with a nice little wind muff. It just attaches right in here. This does record audio by itself, so you have backup audio if you need it. I will probably only be using these things if I know if I'm going to be in high wind situations and I need to talk to the camera, but it is nice to have. The audio is pretty good off of this. Okay, and the last camera I'll be carrying this year on the PCT, at least starting out with, is my drone, okay? This is the DJI Mini 3 Pro. If you guys watched my Scotland through hike as well as my Sweden through hike, I got some amazing footage with this thing. The reason why I am up in the air about carrying this thing on the PCT, more so than the other trails, is the restrictions on actually flying this thing on the PCT, okay? The PCT is unique in that there's over 50 wilderness areas on the trail, as well as national parks. If you are unaware, you are not allowed to fly these things in wilderness areas nor national parks, so that covers about 40% of the PCT, okay? About 1,100 miles. This thing will be in my pack dead weight that I won't be able to use. I follow the laws. Yes, some people find drones annoying. Get over it. They're here to stay. People fly drones all the time. They are legal where they are legal. And the final camera that I will be carrying, yes, more cameras. My GoPro, okay? I will not be starting the trail with the GoPros. GoPros are amazing for what they are. I've used them in the past. This thing came in handy in Scotland many times because I got pissed on so much there. When I get up to the Pacific Northwest, that's rainy season on the PCT. I'll get rained on a lot up there, as well as Washington. So I will have this thing shipped up to Oregon, probably to Ashland or somewhere. The tripod I'll be using this year is another tabletop tripod. This is from a company called Small Rig. Does have a panning feature on there. I got an Arca Swiss plate on it, which attaches to the clip I have on the bottom of my camera. That tripod just sits in a little sewn-in loop on my sternum strap, and it's easily to take out, attach my camera, set it up wherever, and do my walking past the camera shots. It's a really easy setup, and it's very lightweight. So, okay, let's go over batteries now. How the hell am I going to keep all this stuff charged? First off, Sony batteries. Sony batteries are pretty good, okay? I usually get about a day and a half out of one of these batteries right here. One of the camera, 2 spares. For my drone, I have 3 batteries for my drone. I'm only going to take 2 of them, okay? For the limited amount of times I can actually fly the thing on the PCT, there's no sense in carrying 3 batteries if I'm not going to have to use them. Batteries for my GoPro. I'm not going to go overboard with this. I'm only going to be carrying my GoPro probably through Oregon and Washington. So 3 batteries, 2 Enduro batteries, and 1 of them standard batteries. The last and heaviest battery I will be carrying is my beast of a battery bank. This is an Anker 26,000 milliamp hours. It's huge. It weighs a shit ton. It's over a pound. My wall charger that I have here, this is kind of heavy as well. This is an Anker. It's 100 watt. Has 2 USB-Cs and 1 USB-A. Okay, let's go over storage now. I have a shit ton of SD cards. I take a lot of footage. This is over a terabyte of SD cards, ranging from 64 gig all the way up to 256 gig. I think I have 12 in this case. Backing up footage. SSDs, they're my best friend in the world. I have all the raw footage aside from my AT hike because I didn't know what the hell I was doing back then, just starting out. But since the AT, PCT, CDT, Scotland, Sweden, I have all the raw footage on SSDs backed up. In case I want to use this footage later on for a documentary, short film, something like that, I have all the raw footage backed up on these things. Okay, last but not least, how will I be editing all this stuff? Well, the hardware I'll be using to edit is my iPad mini, okay? I've used different variations of the iPad over the years, anywhere from the mini all the way up to the big-ass iPad Pro. I came back to this thing. It's the best of both worlds. It's fairly lightweight for what it is, but it does give me enough screen real estate to where it makes my life a lot easier editing video every single night in my tent. Software I use to edit video on trail is an app called LumaFusion. It's an amazing piece of software. While I'm on trail, I'm doing very bare bones editing. It's basically cut and paste, add some music, try to tell a story, do the best I can after hiking 20, 30 miles. I don't do complex editing on trail, but that software is good enough to do complex edits if you want to use it for your own videos. Back home, I use Final Cut Pro on my laptop, but on trail, it's LumaFusion. As far as editing photos goes, I use Lightroom, have since the beginning. There's tons of other softwares for editing photos out there, but I started with Lightroom. I'm familiar with it, and it does a great job for me. So I use Lightroom Mobile on my iPad as well as LumaFusion. When I'm back home editing photos for calendars, selling prints, I get on my laptop, hook up a monitor, and do Lightroom Classic so I can get a little bit more detail on a big ass screen. But on trail, I make do with what I got. As far as when are you guys gonna start seeing videos from me on the PCT this year, the way I've done it in the past and the way I will continue to do it is there will be probably about a week delay once I start the trail. I'm going to start the last week of April. The videos will probably start coming out the first week of May. The reason I do that is because shit happens on the trail. I could get injured. I might have to hang in town for a few days waiting for a snowstorm or something else, forest fire, whatever. I want the videos to be coming out every single day once they do start coming out. So I give myself about a week cushion for those things. If they do happen, you guys still get a video every single day, and people aren't wondering if I'm dead or not. It's because a video hasn't been posted in 3 or 4 days. The next time you will see me, I will probably be on an episode of Hoarders for my camera gear addiction, but it is what it is. Hope you got something in this video. I'm so fucking stoked to go hiking. Hope you guys are ready to watch me go hike. This is your boy, Abby Tat. We'll holler at you fuckers next time.